Branded a worthless drone and dishonored by my family, I faced them again at my brother's lavish engagement gala. My mother sneered, "What's this failure doing here?" I smirk and replied, "You really don't know who I've become, do you?" I'm Ethan Caldwell, and I'm about to tell you a story that'll hit you like a freight train and keep you glued to every word. 10 years ago, my own family, my parents, Robert and Susan, and my golden boy brother, Noah, kicked me to the curb, calling me a worthless college dropout with nothing but pipe dreams of coding. They thought I'd crash and burn, just another Silicon Valley wannabe eating ramen in a basement. Last week, I stood in the dazzling glow of the Pinnacle Tech Summit in San Francisco, watching their smug, self-righteous world implode like a bad line of code. But before I dive into how I turned their betrayal into my triumph, let me set the stage with a moment that nearly ended it all. Picture this. I'm 35,000 feet in the air, sipping coffee on my private jet, when the cabin shakes like it's caught in a tornado. The pilot's voice crackles through the intercom, calm but tight. Brace for impact. Smoke fills the cockpit, alarms scream, and I'm gripping the armrest, thinking, this is it. We emergency land in a Nevada desert strip. Engines fried, and I'm alive by a hair. The feds later confirmed sabotage. Someone tampered with the fuel line. And my gut tells me it's no coincidence my estranged family's in town for the same tech summit I'm headlining. Buckle up, because this isn't just a family feud, it's a psychological war, and I'm playing for keeps. The Pinnacle Tech Summit at the Moscone Center is Silicon Valley's Super Bowl. Think holographic keynote stages, drone light shows, and billionaires sipping $200 0-cents cocktails while cutting deals that'll shape the future. I'm here as the CEO of Vital Core Technologies, a company I built from a folding table in a dingy Oakland apartment into a global leader in AI-driven healthcare diagnostics. Our tech's saving lives in hospitals, from Seattle to Sydney, but to my family, I'm still the screw-up who couldn't hack a college degree. I spot them in the VIP lounge, all fake tans and designer labels, basking in the glow of Noah's fiancée, Dr. Claire Thornton, a biotech hotshot who just snagged the Innovator in Biotech Award. My mom, Susan, now a Botoxed socialite who'd sell her soul for a seat at the right table, spots me and hisses to Robert, "What's he doing here? He's going to tank the vibe of this whole event." Robert, a retired accountant who thinks success is a corner office and a gold watch, snorts, probably slinging coffee for the real players. Noah, my baby brother, the crypto influencer with 1 million TikTok followers and 0 original thoughts, struts over, grinning like a shark. "Yo, Ethan, you here to fix the Wi-Fi or what? Don't trip over the big dogs, bro." The crowd chuckles, and I feel that old heat creeping up my neck. The kid who was never enough. Always the punchline, but I'm not that kid anymore. I flash a tight smile and say, "Funny how small the world is, Noah. I'm here for something a little bigger than tech support." He blinks, thrown, but before he can fire back, Claire and her mentor, Dr. Evelyn Harper, a tech ethics guru who could make or break careers with a single tweet, join us, and the air gets thicker than San Francisco fog. Let's rewind to how I got here, because this isn't some rags-to-riches fairy tale, it's a grind that nearly broke me. I was 12 when Robert locked me in our basement for wasting time on a coding project, a clunky game I built on our ancient Dell. "You're useless, Ethan," he said, slamming the door, leaving me in the dark with the hum of the water heater and the sting of his words. That wasn't a one-off. It was my childhood. Susan would sigh, "Why can't you be more like Noah?" Well, Noah got private tutors and lacrosse camp, and I got screamed at for daring to dream. By 18, I'd earned a partial scholarship to MIT. My ticket out. I laid the acceptance letter on our kitchen table, heart pounding, thinking maybe, just maybe, they'd see me. Robert picked it up, sneered, "Partial? They don't even want you that bad," and tore it in half. Susan chimed in, "College? You'll flunk out and embarrass us. Get a job, Ethan. You owe us for putting up with you." Noah, smirking from the couch, said, "I'm going to be a CEO, not a loser like you." That night, I found my MIT letter in the trash, shredded like my future. Something snapped in me, not despair, but a cold, quiet rage. I started saving every penny from my fast food gigs, stashing cash in a shoebox under my bed, and secretly recording their venomous rants on my burner phone. If I couldn't win their love, I'd outsmart them. Fast forward to the summit, and danger's already breathing down my neck. On my way from the airport, a black SUV rams my Tesla, sending me skidding into a ditch off the 101. I climb out, heart jackhammering, no injuries, but a dented fender and a gnawing suspicion this wasn't random. The cops call it a hit and run, but I'm not buying it. Not with my family's sudden reappearance. Back at the Moscone, I'm barely settled when my laptop pings with a nightmare, a dark web leak of VitalCore's proprietary AI code. My CTO texts me, "This could tank our stock, Ethan. Find the source, now." The hack traces to a shell company linked to Claire's biotech firm, and I'm stuck in a vice. Call her out and risk a PR war, or play it cool and dig deeper? My wife, Lauren Whitaker Caldwell, a data scientist and Summit co-chair who's smarter than half the room combined, grabs my arm. Her hazel eyes are all fire and worry. "Ethan, this is getting ugly. Let's bail. We don't need this circus." She's my rock, the one who saw the man behind the scars. But I shake my head. "I'm done running, Lauren. They don't get to win again." She nods, but I see the fear in her tight smile, and it cuts deeper than Noah's taunts. Susan's not done twisting the knife. She sidles up, dripping Chanel and disdain, and says to Robert, loud enough for the whole lounge to hear, "Look at him lashing onto some poor girl who bought his sob story. Lauren, honey, you could have done better than a dropout." Lauren's jaw tightens, but she fires back cool as ice. "Funny, Susan, I married a billionaire who's about to steal your spotlight. Guess we'll see who's the real gold digger." The room hums with whispers, and Susan's face goes redder than a Napa Valley sunset. I'm fighting the urge to scream because her words drag me back to that basement, to the nights I sat in the dark, convincing myself I was nothing. But I'm not nothing. I'm the guy who built an empire while they were busy polishing Noah's halo. Let's talk about those wilderness years, because they were brutal, like trying to code a masterpiece on a laptop with a dying battery. After high school, Robert and Susan turned me into their personal ATM. I worked doubles at Burger King, coded freelance apps till 3 a.m. and drove for Uber on weekends, handing over 80% of my pay to repay them for raising me. But I was no saint. I skimmed cash. $10 0 cents here, $20 0 cents there, hiding it in that shoebox. My sanctuary was the San Francisco Public Library, where I'd sneak in with a fake student ID and devour AI textbooks till my eyes burned. That's where I met Zara Khan, a cybersecurity prodigy who caught me geeking out over neural networks. "You're not in my Stanford classes," she said, plopping down. "What's your deal?" I spilled it all. The basement, the shredded MIT letter, the family that treated me like garbage. She didn't pity me. She got mad. "Your parents are idiots, Ethan. You're a freaking goldmine." Zara became my first real friend, my co-conspirator, and later, my co-founder. At 20, the final straw hit. Noah, then a spoiled 15-year-old with a Tesla he didn't earn, whined that my late-night coding was ruining his vibe for some dumb prep school exam. Susan didn't hesitate. "Get out, Ethan. Noah's got a future to focus on." Robert added, "Figure it out. You're not our problem anymore." They tossed me out with a backpack and $40 0 cents, expecting me to crawl back, tail between my legs. They didn't know I'd been planning my exit for years. My Aunt Julia, a tech blogger who'd cut ties with the Caldwell's toxicity, co-signed a lease on a roach-infested Oakland studio. I was free, but freedom tasted like instant noodles and 4-hour naps. I was scared, broke, and alone, but every bill I paid was a middle finger to their predictions of failure. Then came the lifeline. Mr. Chen, a startup founder who'd mentored me at a coding boot camp, called out of the blue. "Heard you got screwed, kid. My team needs a junior developer. It's grunt work, but I bet you can handle it." That job was my oxygen. Chen saw my hustle. When he gave me a week to debug a messy AI model, I pulled 2 all-nighters and delivered it in 48 hours. He grunted, "Not bad," but his grin said I'd earned my... With his rec letter and Zara's help navigating applications, I got into Stanford's master's program, working nights to cover tuition. I was 25, older than my classmates, feeling like an imposter among trust fund kids. But I wasn't there to party. I was there to build something they couldn't ignore. That's where I met Lauren, at a hackathon where we teamed up to build an AI ethics framework. She was a PhD candidate, all sharp wit and zero BS, challenging my code line by line. Over Red Bull and pizza at 2 a.m., I told her my story. She didn't flinch. Most people would have quit, Ethan. You turned pain into rocket fuel. Her belief in me was like sunlight after a decade of storms. With Zara, we founded VitalCore, coding our first AI diagnostic tool in my cramped kitchen, arguing over algorithms till dawn. We pitched it to hospitals, got laughed out of rooms, including by Claire Thornton, who smirked, "Cute idea, but it's got no legs." Months later, she tried to shop a knockoff version to VCs, proving she was all flash, no substance. We secured funding anyway, and by 30, VitalCore was a name hospitals couldn't ignore. Back at the summit, the stakes keep climbing. During a gala dinner, my whiskey burns my throat wrong and the room spins. I collapse, vision blurring, until Lauren's shaking me awake, her face pale. "Someone spiked your drink, Ethan. We need to get you checked." The paramedics confirm a sedative, non-lethal but meant to humiliate. My blood's boiling. First the jet, then the car, now this. I'm starting to think my family's not just cruel, they're dangerous. Lauren's ready to call the cops, but I stop her. Not yet. I need proof. The next day, during my panel on AI ethics, a stage light, 200 pounds of metal, crashes inches from my head. Lauren yanks me out of the way and the crowd gasps. The tech crew calls it a freak accident, but I'm not buying that either. Then, my hotel room's trashed, drawers dumped, laptop untouched, but a folder of VitalCore's patent filings is gone. This isn't just sabotage, it's a coordinated attack. And I'm running out of time to figure out who's pulling the strings. The summit's buzzing with a culture war, and I'm caught in the crossfire. On one side, the tech purists, coders, hackers, and startup kids, cheer VitalCore's open source ethos and life-saving tech. They're tweeting, "Ethan rises," painting me as the underdog who beat the odds. On the other, the biotech traditionalists, old money big pharma and Claire's cronies, back her regulated innovation stick, slamming me as a reckless disruptor. They're flooding X with VitalCore scandal, accusing my AI of playing God with patient data. It's a circus, and the internet's eating it up. During a Q&A, Claire's planted journalists grill me. "Mr. Caldwell, isn't VitalCore's AI just a black box profiting off vulnerable patients?" I keep my cool, but inside, I'm a tightrope walker over a pit of snakes. One wrong word, and my company's toast. Then I find the smoking gun. Zara, bless her hacking genius, digs up an old email from Noah to a buddy bragging about hiring a black hat coder to tank my first startup a decade ago. Easiest $500. 0 cents I ever spent, he wrote. "Ethan's done and Dad'll never know I'm the golden ticket." It's a gut punch, proof my own brother tried to bury me before I even started. I'm torn. Expose him and risk dragging VitalCore into a family soap opera, or hold it as leverage. Lauren's pushing me to go public, but I'm not sure I want the world knowing how deep this betrayal runs. The summit's climax hits like a tsunami. Lauren's dad, Dr. Henry Whitaker, a tech legend who built the first digital hospital network, takes the stage for the keynote. The room's electric. 10,000 eyes on him as he announces the Visionary in Tech Award. My family's in the front row, preening like they own the place. Clueless, Henry's voice booms. "This year, we honor a man who turned adversity into innovation, a leader who's saving lives with AI that sees what doctors can't. My son-in-law, Ethan Caldwell, CEO of VitalCore Technologies." The spotlight swings to me, blinding, and the crowd erupts. My face, calm, unshaken, flashes on massive screens. Susan gasps, clutching her pearls. Robert's jaw hits the floor. Noah looks like he's been sucker punched. Claire's smile freezes, her eyes darting to Dr. Harper, who's watching her like a hawk. I walk to the stage, every step heavy with a decade of pain. Robert's glaring, Susan's whispering furiously, and Noah's scrolling X, probably trying to spin this disaster. I shake Henry's hand, accept the sleek glass award, and step to the mic. My heart's pounding, but my voice is steady. "Thank you, Henry and the Whitaker Foundation. This is for my team, for Zara, who believed in me when I was coding in a library, and for Lauren, my North Star. I pause, locking eyes with Claire across the room. Innovation isn't about stealing ideas or cutting corners. It's about building something real, even when the world bets against you. The crowd roars, but I see Claire's face drain of color. She knows I'm talking about her. The Q&A's a minefield. A reporter asks, "What's the biggest hurdle you faced breaking into tech?" I lean into the mic, deliberate. It's not the code, it's the gatekeepers. The ones who dismiss your work as cute while pitching a cheap knockoff to VCs behind your back. The room murmurs, and Dr. Harper's eyes narrow at Claire, who's sweating through her designer dress. I didn't name her, but I didn't have to. The truth's a laser, and she's in the crosshairs. Then Noah snaps. He leaps up, screaming, "He's a liar! Ethan's a dropout who faked his way here!" The crowd gasps. Security moves in, but Henry raises a hand, silencing the room. His voice is pure steel. "For the record, Ethan Caldwell holds a master's from Stanford, summa cum laude, and advises their AI program. I'm not sure who you're yelling about, son, but it ain't this guy." It's a verbal guillotine and Noah's done. Mouth open, no sound, just a kid who lost his crown. My family's unraveling in real time. Susan's sobbing, Robert storming out, knocking over a wine glass that shatters like their reputation. Claire's cornered by Harper, who's grilling her about irregularities in her firm's funding. I head back to my seat, the crowd's applause deafening, but inside, I'm hollow. This isn't victory. It's a funeral for the family I never had. Lauren grabs my hand, her touch grounding me. "You did it," she whispers. "You're free." But freedom feels heavy, like carrying a ghost you didn't ask for. The fallout's a wildfire. Claire's firm collapses under Harper's investigation. Turns out she was funneling investor cash into Noah's shady crypto scheme. Her biotech career's toast, and she's facing SEC charges. Noah's platform tanks when the feds raid his office for money laundering. His TikTok empire's now a meme for failure. Robert and Susan's socialite life implodes. Nobody in their Marin County country club wants to touch the parents who trashed their billionaire son. They sell their McMansion, move to a nowhere town in Nevada, and Robert drops the CPA title, just another guy named Bob. I hear Noah's bartending in Reno, looking 45 at 25, his health shot from stress and bad choices. A year later, I'm on another stage, this time at Stanford, giving the commencement address. The grads in their caps and gowns look at me like I'm a superhero, but I'm just a guy who kept swinging. I don't mention my family. I talk about grit, about building your worth when the world says you're nothing. Your value isn't what others see in you, I say, voice steady. It's the fire you stoke inside, log by painful log. The crowd cheers, but I'm thinking of Mia, my 5-year-old, who asked me last night, "Daddy, why don't we see your other grandma?" I told her, "Some people get lost, kiddo, but we've got all the family we need right here." She hugged me, and that was worth more than any award. The ghosts still show up sometimes, but they're fading. Aunt Julia tells me Susan cried to a cousin, "We bet on Noah, and Ethan was the winner all along." It's not remorse, just regret they missed the gravy train. I don't hate them anymore. I just don't care. Lauren, Mia, Zara, and the Whitakers are my world now. We're a messy, loud family, built on love, not blood. Last week, Mia drew a picture of us on the beach, all smiles, with Henry and Ellen, my in-laws, building a sandcastle. That's my legacy. Not the billions, not the takedown, but a kid who'll never know what it's like to feel worthless. And that's the sweetest win of all.